to BackStage Pass from New Mexico. From
Yes,
Albuquerque,
we are
New Mexico.
Albuquerque, New Mexico tonight, visiting family. How are you guys doing? We're getting things set up here as people log in.
We apologize for the funny lighting. I know my glasses are doing weird things and we're kind of yellow, but you know, we're making the best of it.
We're not in the professional studio of our home any longer.
No, we're not in the professional studio of our home.
We are at our daughter's
Not
house.
that we have a professional studio at home, mind
We
you.
don't.
Hey, Joella, nice to see you online here. Hey,
Yes.
Neil,
Right.
nice to see you both joining us.
Yeah, we got Encinitas, we got Oregon, Encinitas, California, San Diego. Guys, just as you log in, you can comment where you're at, where you're watching from tonight. Jill and I are coming to you live from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
That's right.
And yes, you love the shirt. I love the shirt too. Kind of
It's a
says
good one.
it says it all, right? It's just straight to the point. I like that.
You
Yellow.
know, we
Yellow.
wore that on the plane over today. So we've been traveling today. I am dealing with
Oh,
some major allergies, and so we're just going to take it moment by moment today, as far as I'm concerned.
she's trying to ditch me. Let's just put it, to be honest.
Yeah,
She's like,
I say I may have to,
I'm out of
to
here.
run off and sneeze, but you know I'll be here in spirit.
She left me last week, leaving me this week.
Yeah.
No, you're here.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
just, just praising God that I'm here, and I've stopped sneezing long enough to be here. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Yes, Neil, wherever we are is a professional studio.
Yeah.
We are professionals.
Professionals. In a not so much at all sort of way. So Brae.
This is crazy fun. We're we're out visiting our daughter in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and our son-in-law and our granddaughter Aria, and we just got here today, and so it's great. We're having a great time. Had some Freddy's burgers tonight and some cake, and just a fantastic time to see everybody and
hanging out with our
seeing family is so important.
Children.
Yeah. And so we're excited, and we'll be seeing our other children in Boise next month for Turkey Day, right?
Yep.
That'll be fun. And what's going on today, Jill?
Going on today. Welcome to BackStage Pass, where we invite you to join us for a conversation with your master creator. Backstage, behind the veil, so to speak, Hebrews 6:19, I believe that is. And we're all VIPs, So we all get to hang out with our master creator, and he loves to hang out with us and talk with us.
He does.
And have these conversations, these relevant, real conversations with us.
Really
so
good.
Our prayer is that you'll join us now, and then stay back a while after we say toodaloo, and or see you later, or
Alligator.
whatever, and that you'll stay back and hang out with your Papa God. And have some more conversation, because that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
To hang out with him and have conversation. So welcome if you're here joining us live, or if you're here later. Welcome. We're happy to have you join us. And Brae has a really cool a topic of conversation tonight.
Yeah. It's
on
like Donkey Kong.
It's kind of fun to say.
Yeah, it is.
So let's hear what you have to say about that.
That's it, guys. So stay backstage with God and talking about it's on like Donkey Kong. No, literally, what does that mean? And I was just pondering this the other day, because Jill's like, "Are you getting anything from God?" And I was like, "It's on like Donkey Kong." And I was like, it just kept hitting me. And then I was praying, like, Lord, what do you want to talk to us about backstage with him? And he said, "Son, I want to talk about Noah, and I want to talk about his radical faith And so we're going to talk about Noah and this whole thing about it's on like Donkey Kong. So we've heard the term it's on, like, oh, it's on, right?
It's on.
And we know, something's it's going to happen. It's on, like it's ready to go down. And then this term came out in 1981 based off of the arcade game Donkey Kong. And so over the years, people have said, "Oh, it's on," like Donkey Kong, and it kind of took "it's on" to the next level. So in 1981, we had the big gorilla throwing barrels down at Mario, and he's jumping over them, smashing them, and he's climbing up trying to rescue the princess. And that's the basis of this game, and it's called Donkey Kong. And so this term "it's on like Donkey Kong" is because the Mario guy in the game was so intentional. He was going to do everything he could to save this princess, and so this whole terminology came out of this. And in the Urban Dictionary, get this, a phrase "it's on like Donkey Kong" is a phrase to denote that it's time to throw down or compete at a high level. Something is about to go down.
Ooh, I like that.
The use of the comical video game character Donkey Kong provides comic relief, but the phrase itself has greater or more significance than simply "it's on." And then when I'm reading Genesis, if you read Genesis 5 through 10, that's really where, Noah that we read about. And it's incredible. And I encourage all of you guys to read Genesis chapters 5 through 10. Just kind of go back in there, because every time we go back into scripture, how many of us confess that God keeps telling us something new? He shows us a new level. And I don't care how many times you read it, there's such a progression, there's such a depth, and there's such a timing that God releases something for us. And it's on like Donkey Kong. And here we got Noah that had such radical faith. And how do we get this radical faith? It's not by our works. It's not by what we do. Noah didn't go to God saying, "I'm going to build you an ark to prove my faith for you." No, what did he do? He said, "I simply believe in you, God, no matter what." Consider the time that he was in when the whole world was literally going to hell. I mean, God was here ready to just decimate the entire world and everybody on it, except for Noah and his family, who he found to be righteous. The only ones in the entire world. And through that faith, that radical faith, he was instructed by God, "I want you to build an ark."
Yeah.
And that is please read through this, because it is ridiculous the faith that this man had. Now, granted, he was 500 years old when he got this calling. He did not have children. And Noah was the 10th generation of Adam. So 10 generations later after Adam, Noah is in town. I have a couple things of like kind of little facts that I pulled out. So Noah's the 10th generation descendant of Adam. Life for Noah got pretty interesting after his 500th birthday. Happy birthday, Noah! I'm going to destroy the world, and you're going to build an ark. He became a father of 3, and it took almost 100 years to build the ark. So at that point, 500th birthday, he had 3 children. And those incredible heritage with those children. You can read on those as well, but and then it took 100 years to build the ark. And this is where you don't know, is it just him that built it with his family? I don't know, but literally 100 years, it could possibly have been just him. And maybe he had others, build tools or fabricate things for him to help him build the ark, but he was the one really doing it, because they were the only ones going to be allowed to be on the ark. No one else was invited onto the ark, right?
And they probably all thought he was crazy anyway.
Exactly. Everyone's like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Yeah.
That's radical faith, where you don't go where the world is telling you. the entire world is just going to hell, and like everybody's just doing their own thing. And to see somebody with faith, I mean, look at people that are being attacked now with their faith in life. What was Noah under at that time?
Yeah.
When you go in saying, "Hey, I need some more hammers," with the blacksmith, and like, okay, as long as you pay me. But what a joke.
Yeah.
And then nearly 300 cultures agree there was a catastrophic flood. So 300 cultures today in this world agree that there was a catastrophic flood in the world. So this shows, proof that there was some major flood catastrophe that happened. And this is based off of 300 different cultures around the world. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They were on the boat for about 1 year. So when they went on the ark, they were on there for about a year. So it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Water lasted another 150 days, and then 100 days to recede. So they were on the water for like 250 days, and then it rained another 40 days and nights. And then there was no steering of the boat. Get this, guys. It was made to just float. There was no steering, needed. Why? Because God just said, I need this apparatus, this thing to float with you and the animals. And then God was going to dictate where it landed, where it receded, where it was going to go to the mountains of Ararat, right? Is where it finally rested, on the mountains of Ararat. Nobody's discovered the ark. There's been several claims that it's here or there, or they've said it, seen it on what they've called Ararat. But others have said, I don't know if that was the real Ararat. So some say it's in Iran or Iraq, so different places. But no one's legitimately found this. They don't know which wood was used. Some said it was gopher wood, but others said it was a different wood. But God gave him specific instructions, right, on how to build this thing. Right. The size, the length, what it was supposed to look like. And I'm going to show you a couple pictures, guys. I'm going to share with you my screen. And this is some crazy stuff, guys. I love it. This is fun.
Wow.
Okay, so here's an image of like what the ark would start to look like as it's being built. And you can just see this monstrosity of what it looks like. Now this next picture is an actual ark that is built and now is a museum, and people can go visit it. It's in Williamstown, Kentucky.
Oh wow!
And it is the people that did it built it to the exact replica of what would have been in the Bible. And some licenses are there, I'm sure, because it doesn't give you the details of like the curves or that kind of stuff. But we got all the lengths and the widths and the heights. And
wow, I want to go see that.
So definitely, I want to go out and see that too. But you can get the scope of what it looks like. Just look at the crowd of people.
Yeah.
And then the scope of this ark. So some other facts about this is, let me go to the next picture here. This is the inside of the same museum that they built. So this is what it would look like inside. There's corrals, there's a place to walk, there's stuff that they set up. They had different stations, different rooms for all the animals. And then here's a cool picture of God's word and the flood, and then you have the ark, and I thought that was kind of cool. I just kind of threw that in, and then the rainbow up top.
Yeah, that's cool.
It kind of tells the whole story in one picture, right?
That's right.
God said, and there it is.
Right in the Bible, right there.
Okay, so when you compare the size of the Ark of the Covenant, 515 feet long, compared to what, the Titanic? The Titanic's huge, 882 feet. So it's incredible that you can see the size of the scope of this thing that was built by Noah and his family. And another reason why I think God instructed him to build this at the timing was, I need you to have sons, because your sons are going to help you build this ark, right? So he gave him three sons. And then so you look at the Titanic is 175 feet tall compared to 45 feet tall of Noah, 882 feet long compared to 450 feet there. And the other picture said 515 feet, so there are some discrepancies. 92 feet width, 75 feet width for Noah's Ark, and of course the construction, steel to Titanic, wood to Noah, and 3,547 people and provisions for 3 weeks on the Titanic. And the capacity was 50,000 plus animals and 2 million plus insects.
Oh, wow.
8 people, provisions for 1 year. I don't know about the insects,
Yeah.
but that's just something they threw in there. But because in the Bible, and I was reading it the other day, and I never remembered it. You know, we always say, bring the animals, how many?
2 by 2.
2 by 2, right? 2. But in there it says God wants 7 of the clean animals. Did you know that? He wanted 7 of the clean animals, and all the others are 2.
Oh,
A
interesting.
male, female for the 2, but the clean animals are 7. So when we go into radical faith, I'm looking at what the Bible says about this. And when I started looking at this in John chapter 6, 28 through 29, it talks about that the work of God is to believe. That is where a radical faith comes in, where we believe in something so much greater than any influence outside, that we would bypass what we can see and say, I'm just going to focus on you, God. I've got a whole storm of doubt and shame and guilt and contempt and condemnation and anger and rage and evil, everything around me, but I'm going to keep my eyes on you. That is radical faith. That is believing. And I love what the Message says about this. It says in verse 28, to that they said, well, what do we do then to get in on God's works? So they're asking, what do I need to do? Like, what is the, do I need to build an ark to get into your good works, right? So let's stay with the ark. Noah didn't come to God saying, can I build you an ark, God? But then Jesus said this. He said, throw your lot in with the one that God has sent. Who did God send? God sent Jesus. That kind of commitment gets you in on God's works. Mm-hmm. So when we have the faith in Jesus, when we have the faith and we believe in God, that's what gets us into the radical doing part. Because we can't, let's face it, in each one of us, we're called to do stuff. We want to do stuff. But we have to bypass the doing to please God and say, God, I believe you. I'm so radically, it's on like Donkey Kong, Lord, that I so am in love with you and I'm so ready to do everything you want me to do. I believe in you no matter what I see in this world.
Right.
And then that's when he gives you the assignment.
Right.
I mean, that assignment is the radical assignment. I'm not talking about the things that we can do. I'm talking about the radical stuff like building an ark by yourself, because God says to do it. It doesn't really tell you why. Oh, I mean, he did. He said, I'm flooding the whole thing. Right. But that, you have to believe that he's going to do that.
But they didn't even know what rain looked like, right?
No, I mean, there have to be rain. There's water. I mean, there's got to have the precipitation. He built everything with clouds, but they didn't have any faith.
They didn't have like floods.
Why would you
to even compare, right?
How could any one of us think that we can understand that God could flood the entire world in 40 days and 40 nights?
Yeah.
It's beyond our scope of comprehension.
So everything about it seemed absolutely crazy. And how many times does he ask us to do something that kind of seems absolutely crazy?
All the time.
But he'll ask you when he knows you're all in.
Yes.
When he knows, like you said, you've got your yes.
Yeah.
Like your faith is so strong that you're like, God, whatever you ask me to do, I'm just going to say yes. Yeah. And then he brings out that supernatural assignment.
Yeah. Let me get out of this.
Yeah. It's a fun ride.
Yeah. It's just.
It's quite an adventure when you say yes to God and you're all in. You're in like Donkey Kong.
These are the things where we really have to sit back and just kind of ponder these things. These are one of those backstage moments where even I, I'm sitting back with God, like, what is, I'm writing these books. Okay, that's great. But is there something else, God? I believe in you, no matter what. What do you call me to do? But whatever it is, sometimes he calls us to build that ark. Sometimes he's called us to do the smallest thing, but it's the biggest thing for you to do, if that makes sense. Um, and I think it's time for us to really take some inventory of our faith with God, our faith in what he's got us to do. But we have to really say 2 times it's on like Donkey Kong, right? God, backstage with him, you have to sit there and go, close your eyes, say, God, I believe in you. And it's my belief, it's on like Donkey Kong. And that's just giving him full permission to say, okay, you position your heart in that receiving mode. I'm going to give you something radical. I want you to go talk to your neighbor and tell them about me. I want you to reach out to a family member that you haven't seen in a long time and forgive them. I want you to feed that homeless man that you've been seeing every week, but you haven't seen him the way I see him. I want you to build surfboards for children and teach them how to surf. These are just things coming off the top of my head, but these are the things that we can say comes with the after we believe. And then he calls us to do that. And then when you get that calling, here's the second time where you say, God, it's on like Donkey Kong. I'm all in. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to this world anymore. I'm not going to listen to the shame and guilt. I'm not going to listen to this calling that I just think is so out there. I know it's you, God, but everyone else says, get a normal job. Don't pursue that thing that everyone thinks is not normal, And I'm just saying right now for all of us that it's time when we look at what's happening in the world today, this pandemic and all this other crap that's happening, we really have to take that faith inventory and say, God, what am I here to do? And I'm ready to do it. But I believe in you. First and foremost, we need to have our full commitment, belief in him. And in this, when you read Noah, guys, and I'm challenging you to sit down and read Noah, Genesis 5 chapters, Genesis 5, those chapters, 5 through 10, chapters 5 through 10 of Genesis. Read Noah, dive in, study him, because it's that radical faith that Noah had that's going to increase our faith because we saw what God did. And anytime we see testimonies, it's always about what, Jill? Testimony.
Yeah, do it again. It's the spirit of prophecy. Testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy, and testimony means do it again. We say do it again. And I think about Noah, the opposition that he must have experienced from everyone around him, thinking that he's lost it, right? He's just off his rocker. And even the inner turmoil, and the mocker that says, what are you, ridiculous? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What is an ark? What does that even mean? And what is a flood? And and the opposition from all around to his assignment, and yet he pressed through. But what would have happened if he hadn't?
Yeah.
If he hadn't pressed through?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never really thought about that, but if he hadn't pressed through. So I don't think we often think about what would happen if we didn't press through.
Yeah.
Like if we actually played that out, what would happen if we didn't write this book?
Right.
What would happen if we didn't follow through on the assignment that God has given us? We think, oh, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But what if it is? What if it is a really big deal? What if the thing that he's asking you to do means a salvation for one person?
Yeah.
That's a matter of life and death.
It's huge.
I mean, we just don't know. So it's got to be on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And we gotta press through because we just don't know what it would be like if we don't.
Right. It's time, guys. It's time that we step into building the ark that God's called us to build. For those of us that believe, we believe in him. What is your ark? That's the question tonight to ask with God backstage. What is my ark, God? What is it that you've called me to do? What is my Noah's ark in this world? And sometimes it's a small thing. Sometimes it's a big thing. Don't look at the size of the task. Just believe in God and trust him, because he has an army of believers. And if one does one thing and one does another, you link all those, if 1,000,000 of us do one small thing,
right,
that is a huge, momentous move of God.
right.
You know, in our belief and our faith, signs and wonders follow those who believe. Follows us, guys. Who we believe, and the miracles and signs and wonders follow us. It's not about the signs and wonders. It's
Right.
about our belief in him, in an invisible God. Look at doubting Thomas, where he said, I believe, now that he saw. And then what did Jesus say? He said, you believe, Thomas, based off of what you see, and now you believe? Blessed are the ones ahead of you that don't get to see, but they have the faith in me. And even Jesus was saying, that is radical faith, that they cannot touch my hands like you are, Thomas. They cannot see the wound in my side. They cannot see me back to life in person like you. But yet they're going to believe just the same as you. That is radical.
Yeah.
So stay backstage with him, guys. And I just pray a blessing over you guys. I just pray that you understand and get clarity for your ark, for your Noah's Ark assignment in life. And that you trust the process, that you trust his timing as well, that you don't rush through it, but you just trust him and believe in him. First and foremost, believe in who he is and what he says will be. We love you guys.
We love you.
Have a great night.
Good night from Albuquerque.
Talking
We'll
to
see you
God.
next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.